think you fell in deeper than you imagined. Hello everyone, this is your friendly neighborhood lion, and this is going to be another entry into the Philosophy of the Mind sub-series, Thoughts from a Lion. So if you watch my other video, which is similar to this one, which is the precursor to this one, it is just a bunch of video. I have a bunch of video ideas that I have on my phone that I emailed myself so that I can make videos, individual videos on each topic. And I don't know if I'll do just one topic today or two or three, who knows, maybe just one. We'll see how it goes, how the series progresses. Basically, these are just thoughts and ideas that I've come up with on my own that I believe are worthy of leaving on this planet Earth before I pass away, before I am gone. So this video has to do with relationships and how you meet people. Okay, so what I believe is, when you meet somebody, you pretty much start as a ground zero. You know what I mean? You just start as a baseline of zero. You don't know who the person is, you've never seen them before, you meet them, they're at zero. You're at zero with them, with everybody in the universe, until you come across their presence, until you come across their human body or their essence or their mind. You are at ground zero. Then when you meet them, you either go to a positive, which means you like the person, or a negative, which means it pulls you away from the person. For whatever reason, one reason or another, you don't like the person. You want to be farther away from them. You want to distance yourself from the person, okay? Does that make any sense? So we all start as a baseline of zero. And when we meet somebody, we're either going to immediately, based on their looks, whatever, what have you, I'll explain in a second, we're either going to like them or we're going to not like them and want to be closer to them or remove ourselves from the situation. So, here's what I said. I said when we meet somebody, there are so many forces that are constantly either bringing us together or pulling us apart. Some of these forces are pheromones. So pheromones are these chemicals that you secrete through your sweat glands, that you secrete through your body that people can smell. They can smell through your sweat and just how you are as a human being. We know this because of psychologists. They actually have done studies on this, where they take t-shirts. You know, you wear a t-shirt for a couple days, the scientists take the t-shirt, right, and they put it in a bag, and then they give it to a test subject, and the test subject would smell the t-shirt, and they would say, I either like that smell or I do not like that smell. It either makes me attracted to the smell or I'm not attracted to the smell. Really quickly, I'll just go off on a mini tangent. Basically, we are looking for human beings that have kind of similar genetics to us, but different genetics in the immune system. Why would we be looking for different genetics in the immune system, you're asking me? Well, we want different genetics in the immune system because that means, guess what? Say I get sick on a certain disease or a certain kind of bacteria makes me sick. Well, if I find a female that doesn't have that kind of genetic code, they have a different genetic code for the immune system, they don't get sick. They do not get sick on a certain disease or that certain bacteria. Get it? You know what I mean? So that's why pheromones are very important. If someone smells good to you, their natural smell. I'm not talking about perfume or deodorant. I'm talking about if this person is sweaty. You know how some people are, like, when you work out, some people are sweaty. Everyone's sweaty, right? Some people smell better than others. Some people just smell really bad, and some people kind of smell okay. They smell okay to you. In my opinion, and in science opinion, those are the people you should mate with. Those are the people who you should be with. Now, birth control throws a complete wrench into this equation. Why? If you want me to make a video onto why birth control can mess us up, this is going to take too long. I'll make another video on that. But birth control can make a whole different... They can throw a wrench into this equation and mess everything up for everybody. Okay, so pheromones is one thing that either pulls you towards a person or pulls you away or pushes you away from somebody as soon as you meet them, as soon as you walk into their presence, right? Another thing is their vocal frequency, the way their voice sounds. Sometimes you like the way somebody speaks, you like the way their voice sounds. Some of you might like the way my voice sounds. Some of you may hate it. Some of you may hear me speak and you're going to be like, ugh, I don't like the way this guy talks, blah, 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 whatever, and you're gonna be repelled from me. You're gonna want to distance yourself. That's fine. So that's another thing is vocal frequency, the way they talk, the tone of their voice, the prosody of their voice, the speed in which they speak. You know what I mean? How much space is in between each word that they say. Physical attributes like hand placement, right? You know, the way they move their hands, the way they move their arms, the way they move their body, their behaviors. These things are all attributes that either pull you in, they draw you in, they make you want to get closer to the person, they make you want to become more attached to them, or they push you away, they make you want to withdraw, they make you want to distance yourself from the person. And if that's what you want to do with me, that's no problem. You know what I mean? And if you want to get closer, that's no problem as well. That's awesome, you know? Because I know that at the end of the day, this is all scientific neurons. This is all, protons and electrons interacting with each other and just these different positives and negatives. So if you don't like me, if you do, it's like, it's great either way, because that's just the way you are and that's the way I am, you know? So I'm not gonna be upset with you or myself either way, because that's just how we are. Yeah, there's, like I said, another thing is neurohormonal changes, right? Like I said, there's these things, neurons, and these hormones, these things that change within our body on a millisecond type basis. They change all the time. They're changing right now as you watch this video. Some of these chemicals are oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. These types of things are changing all the time within your bloodstream, getting released or not released, in different types of glands that house these chemicals based on your environment, based on the things that you're experiencing. You know what I mean? That make you feel certain ways. And you can react to them in any different way that you choose, or any different way that the environment provokes you to. Physiological changes within the heart rate, you know what I mean? Our heart rates either speed up or they decrease depending on our situation, depending on the person that we're around. Pupil dilation, our pupils get bigger or smaller depending on whether or not we're looking at an attractive person. If you're looking at an attractive male or female, depending on what your preference is, your pupils will dilate. The black part of your eye will dilate. It'll get thicker or it'll get smaller to allow in more light. Why would it do this? Because it's allowing more light. It's allowing more of the electromagnetic spectrum to enter your cerebral cortex, to enter your brain, to enter all the different neurons, so that you can process this situation. You can process this person, who they are, what they're capable of, what they mean to you. You know what I mean? You're trying to study them. You're trying to analyze them as human beings. We do this to everybody. So when you're attracted to somebody and you're trying to wonder if they're attracted to you, I know it's a little bit of a trick. Look into their eyes, look at their pupils, look at the black part of their eyes. See if it's thick or if it's a little bit thinner. And that'll kind of give you a little bit of a gauge to know whether or not this person is physically attracted to you, how much they're paying attention to you, how much they're analyzing every single movement that you do. Let's see, what else do I have? Yes, and in turn, allowing more light in stimulates all these different parts of the brain, which allows memories to be formed in the hippocampus, and all these different parts of the brain, the occipital lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe. All these different systems, they link up and they form memories. They form a coalition in the center of the brain, near the center of the brain, that allows you to think about this person, remember the time that you spent with them, whether it's a minute, an hour, a day, a month, a year, doesn't matter. It will allow you to think about this person and then imagine life with them. It'll all project, in my opinion, it'll all project to the frontal cortex, to the frontal lobe, and you will be able to think about the future. You'll be able to think about life together and whether or not this is a good thing together. Whether or not you and that person colliding and becoming one is a positive thing for yourself, for your genetics, for humanity in general. This is all my opinion, by the way. You can take this however you will. And then these memories give rise, like I said, to imagination. And you imagine life with them, with that person, okay? And this is something I think that is pretty unique to human beings, because animals themselves, we all have the primordial brain, we all have the certain neurons that just want to reproduce, they just want to sleep and eat, But I believe what's different about us, what's different about the human beings is the frontal lobes, the frontal cortex, the part of the brain that is all the way in the front, the foremost part of the brain. This separates us from the animal species. It's not that we have the biggest brains in the entire earth, you know what I mean? It's not that we have the largest brains. No, it is we have the most developed frontal lobes that allow us to plan into the future, that allow us to imagine life with another human being and imagine what our reactions and what our behaviors will do in the future, if that makes any sense to you. And obviously, at the end of the day, according to evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology and any kind of biological species, at the end of the day, the goal is to mate. The goal is to find a suitable partner and mate with them and pass on your genetics and pass on your genes, my friends. That is the goal of any kind of species, that is not asexual. Some species are asexual, like certain types of like bacteria. They just cut their genetic code in half. They cut the DNA double helix in half, and they just reproduce it. They make a copy of it, and that's it. That's not what we humans do. That's not what mammals do. We take half of our genetic code, we separate it, and then we mate with a female, or we mate with a male, depending on if you're male or female, right? And then we take that genetic code, and we take half of it, and we combine it. We combine it with theirs. We combine it with their nucleotides, okay? With their genetic code. And that's where we get different features and different behaviors, different phenotypes that exist within the human species, that exist within the mammalian species. Does that make any sense? Okay? Cool. Awesome. Great. Some of you I've lost, and that's okay. Watch the video again. Go do a little bit of research on the internet about the terms that you heard me say that you don't understand in this video. Go do a little bit of research on the internet to find out what these terms mean. Okay? So at the end of the day, emotions and feelings, they either bring us closer or further away from another human being or another animal or another species all the time. As soon as you meet them, like I said at the beginning of the video, you are at ground zero. You are at the baseline. You don't know who the person is. They're not a negative person to you. They're not a positive person to you. You know what I mean? They're not a plus and they're not a minus. They're just neutral. You don't know them. Cool. They're a stranger to you. But as soon as you meet them, every single action that they do, every behavior that they do, they're either going up into the positive realm or they're going down into your negative realm. And it is up to you to decide whether or not this is someone you want to get closer to or distance yourself to. Distance yourself from. Okay? So think about that. I guess I'm going to end it here because it's already past 12 minutes on this video. And this is just number one. This is literally number one on many of my thoughts that I have from a lion. So I guess I'll be making these videos maybe one at a time. Maybe I'll do two, maybe I'll do three in one video, what have you. Please comment down below. Guys, ask me your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, you girls, everybody out there, please ask me more questions. Anything that is on your mind about any type of topic. Philosophy, love, science, bodybuilding, fitness, nutrition, light, darkness, astronomy, biology, chemistry, astrophysics. I don't care what your question is. Music. Whatever you have inside of your heart and your mind, I want to hear it. I want you to ask the question. And I can't tell you, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, I know all the answers in the universe and I'm going to be able to give you the best answers in the universe, because I don't. Because I don't know the answers. But I'm going to give you everything that I can to the best of my knowledge and the best of my ability, given the environment and the circumstances that I have been presented with throughout my entire life. Okay? I will do the best to answer your questions, given my experience and my knowledge. That's all I can ever ask. That's all I can ever give you guys. That's all I ever will give you guys. Alright. Take care, everybody. This has been your friendly neighborhood lion. And remember, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, light up the darkness.